What's your favorite scary movie? Hey, what's up, guys? What is happening? Hey, I hope Rhonda heard T-Money, Theresa screaming from the other room, so you know that the show has started. But hey, what's up, guys? What is happening? Hey, you didn't mute your video.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Teresa screaming from the other room. Theresa, faux pas. Faux pas.
Rookie error. Okay, I can claim that I'm not breathing in this mask. Like how anybody wears this all Halloween night is beyond me.
Especially when you're trying to commit murder.
Dorothy said, I just pooped my no pants.
Hey, Gretchen, it's her 51st birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Gretchen.
Hey, guys, it's Wednesday, which means it's Boss Up and List Day, the all-day virtual listing party that we do over in the Boss Facebook group. So if you're not in the Boss Facebook group, you are missing out. Sorry, am I being too animated and ripping that out of your ear?
Yes.
Anyway, and this is our Boss Up and List live show that we do every week at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time so that you guys can take a break, hopefully. And we've got Theresa, a.k.a. T-Money, as named by Susie Beach, who I see is in the chat as well. So I'm going to give her credit for the awesome nickname that Theresa now is stuck with. And Theresa, tell us what is happening with what you are wearing right now.
Well, first of all, I'm suffocating and I can't breathe. So if I end up like this, you'll understand why.
You might want to take it off so we can hear you better.
Yeah, you could. You're totally muffled too. You could take it off.
Look at it. And I even did my hair this morning. So that I don't know if any of you guys saw the post late last night, but I was working late in the office. The goal was to get my office organized, and instead I went down this rabbit hole from this scream mask because I listed it yesterday after, I don't know, sometime during the day, and then I had to go take my mom to some doctor's appointments and stuff, and I kept getting these questions on my phone. And so one of them was, is it I don't know, brand A or brand B? I forget what the two were. And I'm like, oh crap, I just looked at a listing, copied it, and I didn't really know. So I quickly changed my quantity to 0. When I got home, I went and looked at it, and I'm like, I don't see any tags on here. Like it doesn't say Easter Unlimited or Joy World or whatever it was supposed to be. So I just took those things out of the title and made it active again. And then I started getting more questions. I'm like, okay, time out. So then I went down the rabbit hole of trying to figure this out, and I still don't really know, but
apparently it's vintage. It's one of the earlier ones. So
well, and you had listed it for $25, and Alexis was giving you a hard time for not having researched it first. But the thing is, I know, Theresa, that you are not a thrifter. Usually, right. You're buying and selling a lot of new stuff, doing a lot of retail arbitrage, and right now you're just selling the stuff in your house on eBay. So this, you just threw it up there for $25, and it turns out that they go for as much as like what, $300?
There was one that
depending
went for
on what they are.
So
yeah, so when I did finally look at it, one of them was new with tags that was Scream 4. Like this is probably a Scream 2, I'm guessing. Scream 4 went for over $600 new with tags. And so I don't know all the nuances, but everybody in at 10 o'clock at night last night in the Boss 10 o'clock West Coast time in the Boss group was very helpful. And I finally went to bed. I was pricing it. I decided to do it $2.99, go to bed and see what happened. And Lorna was like, no, you need to go higher. So I went to $3.99, went to bed, and told Lorna, and I still will hold this true, that if it sells anything that sells for over $300, I'm going to give to Lorna dollar for dollar. So yeah, I don't really care. This was in a bunch of my sister's stuff that I brought home to try to sell. I remember when my niece and nephew wore this. My nephew's 32, my niece is 26. Like they were kids, so it's got to be mid-90s.
Yeah.
But why? I mean, it's dirty. It took me forever to get the glow to charge to get it, and I did get one picture of it glowing in the dark. So who knows? If you find one,
worth more money if it didn't glow. I heard, right? But now that you know that it does glow, or.
Well, I don't. Well, that's, and one blog I was reading was like the earlier ones didn't glow, and then there's something about the eyes. So I'm going to say this because in all the videos I had to watch last night, I had none of them told us. Apparently, if these earlier versions, the eyes were hand cut. This feels very machine cut. Somebody asked me for a picture of specifically for the mouth. I have no idea. And then the other thing, the information where you want to get is underneath this chin part here, and you won't be able to see it because it's just stamped on there, but it says Easter Unlimited, made in China.
That's
So
funny.
this morning I woke up and the last guy that messaged me said, oh, I see the, blah, 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 but the Joy World ones are worth more money. Good luck in getting your price. So, I mean, he wasn't a jerk about it, because that's what I was really afraid of waking up to. Like, oh my gosh, you think you're going to get that much money for it? And no, I don't know.
Clearly somebody did. So, hey, there were collectors, lots of collectors.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with like playing around with prices and stuff like that. Like I just sold a t-shirt yesterday. I'll show it in the Sunday live haul show when we talk about solds. I sold a t-shirt yesterday for $70 to Canada, and they paid 10 shipping, so $80.
For a t-shirt that you paid like
for
$2
for a t-shirt, I paid a couple bucks for, and I wasn't really sure. There weren't any like specific comps. It's a video game one. There weren't any comps of that t-shirt to tell me it was worth that much. It was more just like, okay, well, sometimes they go for higher amounts, and I'm just going to throw a high amount on this one and see what happens. And I sold it for $80, So it's like, there's nothing wrong. I mean, you don't want to go crazy with every single thing you list and put crazy high prices. Like, you have to be a little bit strategic about it. But when you're not sure about something, there's nothing wrong with experimenting and playing around with the prices.
Yeah. Well, and Teresa's one of those people that she's like me and like you, that we don't go for the race to the bottom with pricing. We both price things high. All three of us price things high and get the higher prices because we feel that we have a good item. We value the item. We're not trying to just flip it for a $5 profit. We think something is worth it, and we're going to price it high. And Teresa's like me. She wings her prices a lot, and I do the same. I look at something, I go, yeah, I think this is what it should sell for, and I don't give a shit what the comps say. And I very often will get those prices. But if you price it low, yeah, sure, it's going to sell. But if you price it high, what are the chances it could sell? So why not try?
So my theory has always been that, 95% of the work is done when you list an item. So if you have storage space, if you have, I've got a whatever anchor store with 10,000 listings, so I'm not running out of listings each month. There's a lot of things that go into that philosophy of list it and forget it. Now, list it and forget it is very different today than it was just a year ago, because list it and forget it is 90 days to 120 days for me now, where it used to be 2 years. So you want to keep rejuvenating those prices, keep your listings relevant. I'm sorry, keep rejuvenating those listings to keep your prices, to keep them relative. And then, hopefully they'll sell through. But that said, I'm for a slow dime rather than a fast cycle.
And you can pay attention and be like, if you price something and 90 days goes by and it's like, it's got 17 views and no watchers, good chance it's priced too high and nobody really cares about it. I mean, I wouldn't put everything on until we had the number of watchers or views that you have, but it can be an indication.
I have very few watchers on any of my items.
Yeah, but it can be an indication if it's barely been looked at and nobody's watching it and you have it priced crazy high, that like maybe it's not that big of a deal. Big Thrift Allison said nurture or geek shirt. I would say it's more of a geek shirt because it's like video game. That kind of goes more into like the geeky pop culture side.
And Emily, you should list Halloween all the time. Don't list seasonally, because people are buying things for parties and costume contests and various collectors, like that mask. If somebody's buying that mask, they're buying it because they're a collector. Nobody's paying $300 because they want to wear that on Halloween night.
Now, if you're just like selling, if you just have a bunch of costumes that you haven't listed yet, then yes, you want to get those listed before Halloween, because obviously people are buying more costumes right now.
But don't hold off
like what Vicky's saying just now, somebody who's paying $100 to $300 to even $600 for a Scream mask, that's not because they want to wear it on Halloween necessarily. Like, they would buy that at Christmas time.
I know you're going through some of your whole hoard, and so definitely, if you just found a box of Halloween and you have time to get it up there, get it up this week for sure.
For sure.
And if you don't get it up this week, get it up the first week of November.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the easiest and the best way to sell something is to have it listed, obviously. But I tell people I do Christmas closeout clearance shopping. I start at 6 o'clock on January 1st when everyone else is hungover from New Year's Eve. And I spend all day just sourcing all the clearance stuff. I try to get that stuff listed before the end of January. And one of my biggest sales is canned snow that sells at Walmart for $1.49. I always use this example, $1.49 at Walmart during Christmas. I get it 75% off for 38 cents a can. I list it for $12 or $13.99. And I will buy 48, 96, I don't know, whatever I can find. And every year by July 4th, they're sold out. Why? Because you can't buy canned snow anywhere in the stores in June. And, you know, people that are doing photo shoots or people that are doing magazines or they want a themed party or something, Christmas in July. Like, there's 1,000 reasons why people, some guy bought, I don't know, like 6 or 8 cans from me. And I'm like, what did you buy this for? He was remodeling his storefront and he used it to white out the windows. Like, people are like, do that kind of dumb stuff. It doesn't matter what they use it for. So, you know, the theory, if you have the room in your store, absolutely list your stuff all year round.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I see Mary Lucas is watching for the first time.
Hey,
welcome
Mary.
to the show.
Relatively new boss member, but she's been real active in the last few weeks, so we've definitely noticed that. So
welcome. Gretchen is giving us a shout out for the poly mailers that we have, because Vicki and I have both been posting pictures of like our packages going out, and Vicki actually, here, I'll grab one real quick. So
I don't usually do the cutesy stuff, right? Don't I tell people like just ship it? It doesn't matter. You don't have to do anything cutesy. But this showed up on, you know, you get like those sponsored feeds on Instagram one night when I was scrolling, and these were on Amazon. They were $15 for 100 of them, and we already went through the first 100 in the last 10 days.
They're pretty comparable to what the eBay branded ones cost, because if you get like for this size, 400 of them are like $57 from that where you get the eBay branded stuff. So it's about the same price. So once we're out of these, I'll probably just go back to my regular eBay ones since I get free ones.
I may get Christmas ones because they really are cute. They're they're actually a lot thicker.
They're really
eBay
thick.
Ones. They're really good quality.
Because I was worried. I'm like, you know, I had noticed that like the eBay ones are really nice quality, like compared to when I bought other ones on like Amazon and stuff like that. You never know what you're going to get. It's kind of a crapshoot. But the eBay ones are really nice and thick. These ones are even thicker, Theresa. They're really nice. And
you know, I wonder if it's the ink, the printing that makes it thicker.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It may. I'm not sure, but they're printed both sides. It's not even just one side. And these are 11 by 13, I believe. And they're great for, you know, smaller clothing items and stuff. So
great for t-shirts, because I send a lot of first class stuff.
We bought 100 of them, and we have about 15 left of that original 100. And then we bought a second batch of 100 of them. So we'll use them up before Halloween.
Christmas ones might be a good idea, just because it just makes it kind of fun. One thing I did get, I hardly ever get any feedback on Etsy. Like, people complain about it on eBay. Etsy, it's even less. But somebody gave me feedback for a jacket that I sold. It was like a really lightweight one, so it went in one of these. And one of the things they said in their feedback, they gave me 5 stars, and they said they loved the Halloween, the pumpkin bag that the shirt came in. They thought it was really fun.
So I'm still probably never going to take the cutesy pictures on the fuzzy white carpet of my stuff, and, you know, sending out handwritten thank you cards and pretty little bows. Not that there's anything wrong with that. God love you. If that's what you want to do, go for it. I think it's a wonderful thing. It's just not for me. But as Allison says, I'm losing my edge with the cutesy mailers. I used to put stickers on stuff and send out little gifts, and like other people have said, that doesn't necessarily mean a lot, but that was when I was a lot more of a smaller volume seller when I was new. But I kind of like the mailers. The mailers are easy. They're a no-brainer, and they're the same price as I'm buying them anywhere else. So if I can find them cute and cheap like that, I'll do that sometimes.
Yes, it's fun. Dantan Julie Brown. I like using
again. She's in here. This is the 4th time in a row. That's it. She's a regular now.
I like using the fun bags because they're fun. If something gets lost in the mail, I tell them what kind of bag it was in.
That's not a good idea.
Not a bad point. Anyway, also we mentioned it in our video that we just did for the show on Instagram, but we actually got a giant. Look at this, guys.
We got a giant box in the mail.
We got a giant box in the mail from Frenchie, the Real Stitch. So I haven't seen her yet in the chat, but we'll wait and see if she shows up in the chat at some point. And we will. We actually opened it yesterday because we didn't think about the fact that, oh, maybe we should have done like an unboxing. But we'll go ahead and show you guys what's in the box.
It was really cute. It was a very
really fun presents in there for us.
Really very well thought out gift box. That's really cute.
Yeah. So that's from Frenchie. So at some point today we'll do that. But anyway, Big Drift, next thing you know, you two will be using pie-themed mailers.
Rude.
I'd be down with that. I don't see any problem with that.
I like somebody got one in a taco poly bag. Katie'd be all over that, shipping her stuff in taco bags.
Yeah, see, Christiane, what's in the box? Hopefully
Nice,
not.
nice movie reference.
Hopefully not
somebody's
Gwyneth Paltrow's head. All right. Anyway, guys. So let's talk about Q4, Theresa. What's going on through Q4 so far?
Q4 for me is ramping up. I just looked at my seller hub. I've already forgot the numbers, but I think that my seller hub is up 66.4% over last month, and that to me is pretty amazing. Sales are definitely up for me. I think sales are up for everybody. I haven't heard a lot of people whining about slow sales, and I contribute that to definitely Q4.
Mm-hmm.
But as shall I jump into the managed payment?
If you want to, sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to go on with more Q4 stuff? I don't really have a lot.
Well, we can all mix it together. But yeah, hopefully everybody's like been seeing at least some increase in their sales, especially those of you out there who I know have been like really following along with like the daily listing challenges that we do and this Boss Up and List Day. I hope you've all seen some major increases in your sales, like Dorothy and Laura and all you guys have been kind of buckling down and getting your listings done every day.
Mm-hmm.
But ours are definitely.
My sales are definitely up. Definitely up over the last couple months. I had a real rough spring and summer.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the hardest and the lowest my sales have been in at least 7 or 8 years, and working at least 50% harder. So it was a little bit discouraging for me. And I know a lot of that had to do with some of the glitches that were going on, a lot of things that were changing on the platform. Whatever they were, they've either fixed the glitches, things are being seen again. I don't know, at Q4, all of that combined, the last 2 months, I'm doing much, much better and exactly where I should be. And hopefully getting better.
Given my lack of activity in my business in the last 3 weeks, I was out of town for a long weekend for a wedding. I was home for like 2 days, then I was gone to California. I came home from that trip early. I was supposed to source. I went to California to source. I was going to spend 2 days sourcing. And then I came home because I was sick. So then I've spent the last 12 days, like today's really the day that I had to rally. And it's because I think I knew I had to, because I have a meetup tonight. But like today's the first day that I actually got up and showered in the morning and and did that all that stuff. And so I've been doing very little. So the fact that my sales are where they are, I'm even more stoked about. Yeah. You know, it's life. I didn't get upset. I didn't get whatever. I was, on my phone, and I did list a couple of things when I felt like it, and it was easy to do. But yeah, I certainly have not given maybe 3 or 5% of effort. I'd get up and I'd come to the office every day about 3:30 or 4 just to ship, drop it off at the post office, and then go back home. So, when you're sick and you're a one-man show, it's not fun, but it's still manageable.
Rocky J Dog apparently is having an amazing quarter 4. So they just laid down a $20 super chat. What? What? I think we know what this calls for.
Wait.
What?
Okay, so can I do my super chat jingle since you don't know?
Yes, go for it. Do it. Rocky J Dog gets a.
Okay, so this is super chat. I can only do 2 lines because this wasn't rehearsed. The super chat bus coming down the street, moving and a grooving and a shuffling your feet. Get on the chat, pay your fare, cause the super chat girl gonna rock it in the air.
Woohoo!
I wish I had rehearsed, because I had lyrics. I wrote you lyrics months ago. You just don't know the song.
I love it. I love the lyrics.
Awesome. Rocky J Dog, you just got a special treat.
Special
money super chat song. That's awesome.
Exclusive, once in a lifetime, never going to happen again.
And Waste Not Want Not just had an awesome sale. He just said sales are up 251%. Of course, listing helps. Yeah, that does.
Yeah, it really does.
Just sold a soup tureen for $400, paid $40. That's
nice.
Awesome.
I want to go back and give a boss up shout out to Lorna, because anyone who's been kind of following along over the last few months in the group, on the channel and stuff, knows that Lorna has been working really hard to go through her inventory. She had like 5,000 things, and she's been weeding out like a lot of like the lower value stuff that's just kind of crap, that donating things, and she's been completely reorganizing her inventory, and she's been working really hard on bringing her average sale price up. And so she said she's up 50%, or sorry, 58% over last month and 29% over last year. And she just recently got her average sale price up to like $40, I think. A couple months ago, it was at like 25. Last month, it was at like 30 something, and now she's at 40.
So she's seeing a difference for sure.
Yeah. So her work is like paying off big time. And I think that's super awesome.
Good for her.
Really cool.
You know, it's funny because even though I'm a numbers person, and I talk about this a lot, until I met Chris Lynn, and I've been selling for 20 years, nobody talked about this average sale price. Nobody talked about sell-through rates and all that sort of stuff. We were just talking about finding something for $10 and flipping it for $50. And so I love hearing stories like that because Lorna is a seasoned seller. She knows her stuff. She's doing really well, has done really well. She just wasn't focused on that. And it just goes to show you when you focus on that, you can get your average sale price up. You're working the same amount of time and effort, but you're making 4 or 5 times more money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exactly right. She's Lorna knows what she's doing and she does it well. She was just like get stuck in a lot of the things that a lot of people do. Like, oh, I paid 50 cents. I can sell it for 10. I paid $1. I can sell it for 15. Nothing should be thrown away. I can always make money. But so she would list it and it would just sit there. And I get that. And that's what a lot of people do and have done. And she's honestly realizing that, okay, that may not necessarily be the best use of my time. So she's working harder and working smarter to make more money. So I think that's something that we all strive to do.
Well, yeah. And Lauren's saying it was hard work and a painful summer of slow sales, but it's paying off. Yeah. And I kept telling her, like, it's going to, like, once Q4 kicks in, all the stuff that you've been doing, all this listing is going to suddenly like explode and be amazing. Yeah. I also wanted to give a shout out, a hello to Jenna LeDrew, all the way from Canada, watching while listing some Christmas cards. Just want to say hi. Nice.
Oh, we like Jenna.
Yes, nice to see
you. And she actually popped in on the chat. Hey, Jenna. I see her in the Two Dogs Thrifting, the Canadian Thrifting group, but she doesn't come into our chat very often. But I know that she watches.
Very cool.
So thanks for coming in,
Theresa. I can hear the Ebola in your cough, so I'm glad you're a state away. But okay, so let's talk. But
1 second, actually. Frenchie is in the chat. She's just listing. She popped in a minute ago and said she was in there. So maybe we should do the box now. Get it out of the way.
And you gotta type something so we know you didn't leave.
No, she's there. So Theresa, we're gonna, as soon as we get done showing the cool stuff that Frenchie sent us, we'll get into managed payments because you've been super involved in that, and you can give us kind of an update of what's happening, how it's been going. It's been up and running for a few weeks.
And what's the rest of the 125 people? I want to see what's in the box.
What's in the box? All right, guys, seriously, this is what showed up in the mail. Like, it's huge. Yeah. For a second, Vicky was like, did she send us like a whole box of padded flat rate mailers?
It's a padded flat rate mailer box from the post office. So I'm like, oh, maybe she sent these when she heard us say that we had run out of them. We've already gotten some. It doesn't mean that we're not going to use them, right? So the first thing.
Oh, man, seriously, this is the first thing I pulled out. And let me tell you, Frenchie, I love it. Oh. It's a giant taco with hands.
That's awesome.
So I can actually be hugged by a taco. Oh, it's so nice.
You really
tacos love in arms.
You love tacos and tacos love you.
Yay! This taco loves her back.
It's huge. It's awesome. I love it. So that's the taco.
Oh my goodness.
Here, let me see. Okay.
Oh no, the next thing is the best thing. I had tears rolling down my face.
Seriously, like, I really wish that we would have opened this live because we were laughing so hard at this. And let me tell you, Frenchie, this is going on my wall back here so that it will be in the background of every show because I love it. Look at this. Signed headshot.
A signed picture of Frenchie.
Frenchie sent us a signed headshot. Look at how adorable she is.
Let me tell you something. I had tears rolling down my face. I was laughing so hard. That is the best freaking thing. You are so, Frenchie, oh my God.
Frenchie's
are so
hilarious.
Funny.
If you guys are not following Frenchie on, she is the Real Stitch on Instagram and also on YouTube. She's hilarious. Obviously, if you see her in the chat, you know where to look for her on YouTube.
Oh my God,
Frenchie, I'm putting this in a frame and I am putting it on the wall because
it's going right next to the raccoon.
I love it. Anyway, that's not all though.
That's not all.
That's not all.
That's
okay,
awesome.
then we each had like a little bag of goodies. So here, you can open yours.
Okay. So she gave us these little baggies that were clearly individualized for us. So crinkle, 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 crinkle. I'm making noise. So first, I got a Pink Panther shirt.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is really cute. And it's, and I actually really like this. I will wear it. I really like that a lot.
Yeah,
And
Christiane, if anybody sends me signed headshots, they will go on the wall. That might end up being the new thing that happens behind me on the wall, because if you send me one, I will put it up.
And then, I can't take the thing off yet. Well, I don't have scissors. But these little Pink Panther headbands, like
a little
the
blingy
ears
bling.
with bling, which I love because I have like 4 or 5 different kinds, and I was trying to wear different ones at Open last year.
Those are adorable.
Yeah, I really like these a lot. So now I have like 4 or 5 different ones, and I'll wear different ones every day at the conference. I think they're awesome.
Well, and we both got these little tacos.
We both got little mini tacos.
Little taco plush keychain thing.
I love it.
And then this is a little cell phone stand that you can like put on your desk to hold your phone. A little taco
What does it say?
thing.
Every now and then I fall apart.
Yep.
And this one's live every day. Yeah.
Oh,
Live every
Theresa's
day.
all about
I know,
singing
right?
today.
Live every day like it's Taco Tuesday. And then
Awesome.
and then I got this sweet Doctor Who t-shirt that I think is pretty awesome. That's like the cover of a comic book. I think it's super cool. And I will definitely be wearing that. Sorry, I'm trying to rip that out of your ear. But anyway, and then also at the bottom of the box, there are actually padded flat rate mailers. So pretty much a fantastic gift box.
It really was. Frenchie, thank you so much. It was really thoughtful, very thoughtful gifts that she deliberately went and looked for. It was very sweet.
Yeah.
Is that t-shirt vintage?
No.
It says 12 cents on the comic book though.
It is not a single stitch.
But thank you, Frenchie. And
thank you, honey.
And
we love you. You're awesome.
Yes. And then I also have to make a confession really quick, you guys. So last week I got a package in the mail because I get
Wait.
Yeah,
Wait.
what?
Forgive me, watchers, for I have sinned.
Yes, forgive me, watchers.
What have you done, my child?
This Catholic girl got that reference.
Forgive me, watchers, for I have sinned. Okay.
What have you done, my child?
So I get stuff in the mail sometimes, and I got this t-shirt in the mail. I pulled it out. I thought I knew who it was from. I threw away the envelope that it was in, and I threw it away. And Vicky was like, "Hey, did you save the package so you can thank the person that sent it to you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I know who it is." And then I forgot. No, and then I realized it wasn't from the person I thought it was from, and so I have no idea who this came from. And so, but like it's really a funny little.
It's a cat fanny
t-shirt
pack on the t-shirt.
It's a cat fanny pack, and it says on it, "Check me out."
Yeah.
It's really funny and it's really cute. And somebody was really thoughtful and sent this to me. And I need you to identify yourselves. If you're not watching right now or whatever, like send me some sort of message because I would like
she's
to.
a jerk. And she doesn't want to seem ungrateful.
Yeah, and I really want to give credit to the person that sent that to me because it's super awesome and I love it. But sorry, guys, I apologize. Anyway, all right.
We'll go back to the show now, but thank you. Gifts are always really appreciated. Not necessary, but very much appreciated. So thank you.
I think that was a fun box.
It really was. Honestly, if we had thought to do a live unboxing, that probably would have been better because the initial reaction was hysterical because we were just laughing really hard. So
absolutely. All right, so let's get back into the show. Theresa, managed payments. When did they officially start anyway?
It was 3 weeks ago on Monday. So like the 25th or something of September, late in the day. So I kind of don't even really count that day. Let me see my notes here because I had a conference call with the team while I was in California. And there's a lot of stuff that they told me that I can't share, but let me so I hate saying those kind of things just because it sounds like uppity, but I tell you that so that when I say, if you have the chance to do this, when they open it up, you should do it. It's more than just my sales were great. Like they gave me a lot of statistics. They gave me a lot of information. about increase in payment and those statistics and those numbers. And I can't share that with you, but if you get the opportunity, you should do it. I mean, my sales are definitely up. I think that I did a quick calculation on my sales for the first 2 weeks. I haven't updated it for the last week. And 17% of my sales were from first-time buyers. Now, I had 6 first-time buyers in one day. Wow. I attribute that to the new managed payment. People say, how?
Google, well, Apple checkout. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that what happens is that Google search or whatever gets them to eBay. And then when they go to check out, it's just like they check out on every other site. They put their credit card in and they don't get all confused about, well, I don't want to sign up for PayPal. I don't have PayPal. What's PayPal? And PayPal is very second nature to us because we've been doing this, but there's a lot of new people out there that don't use PayPal. So I feel really good about the new buyers, and I am going above and beyond and typing and writing out more thoughtful, longer thank you cards. The eBay, the eBay thank you cards that we get. Mm-hmm. So I spend the time sending these out just to something along the line, welcome to eBay. I hope you come to enjoy it and love it as much as I have, you know, blah, blah, blah. Let me know if you have any questions. So that's been big. I really think that that's a huge part of this.
So I saw, I think it was yesterday, I saw a seller who's in the managed payment program post something about how 1 out of 10 sales of his were paid with Apple Pay. Are you getting that kind of data? Like, what is that like overall, or is that just what he's seeing?
So that was off of so that was a statistic that I got in this call. And so when it was Alyssa Cutright, I think that's her name. She's the VP over at eBay of payments. And she's been doing a blog. She's done 2 blogs updated on week 2 and week 3 of the eBay managed payment program. And so that stat was a graphic in that blog. So I felt really good about them sharing that data. So why does that matter? Because that's 10%. So 10% of, I have a 10% of sales that are through the managed payment plan are because of Apple Pay. That's 10% of sales that I have access to that Vicky and Katie don't.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure some of those would have maybe been, depending on what the item is they're buying, would have been willing to pay in another method. But it just shows that there are, I mean, that's a lot of people out there that are using Apple Pay as their preferred way to pay.
Yeah, so I already get a lot of first-time buyers, so I can only imagine that it would increase, because I think a lot of people, especially this time of the year when people are searching for things for gifts, that's pretty much, you know, they're going to Google search. Not everybody goes direct to eBay to search for something, because that's not second nature for everyone, like it is for us. Like, I'll go to Amazon or I'll go to eBay directly. I don't necessarily Google search for something when I want something. So I think that is probably the way a lot of people shop. And I think that the managed payment option is, you know, is going to be phenomenal. Once I'm really excited about where it's going to be at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that, so I started a Facebook group for just the people that are in the managed payment plan, just because I wanted a place for us to go and talk about what our issues are. That group was very active the first couple of days. And I had to remind people that it's a beta program, that it's going to have a little bumps and you know, bruises out the gate. And this wasn't any different, but I can tell you that on day 3, day 2 was wobbly. That's a term eBay used, wobbly. But day 3, they fixed it. They got things going. And then by the first weekend, we all saw a huge jump in sales. And so eBay was rolling out coupons. They were doing 15% off to, not to anybody that shopped in my store, because that would be dumb. But if somebody was a new buyer and they didn't have credit card information, I don't really know the algorithm that allowed a buyer to get the coupon that popped up. But it wasn't something that I could say, hey, here's a 15% coupon, you know, use this at checkout. It had to populate based on eBay's algorithm when they were checking out in a store that was using beta managed payments. So that was big. And then I had 2 lost sales the first 2 days, and they were both $12 sales. So in my conversation that I had with the payments team, I told him that, and he's like, yeah, they saw that. They saw the data after the first.
Now, just real quick, so people know what you're talking about. You said lost sales. Those were people who didn't want to check out because they couldn't use PayPal, or what was the problem?
Yeah, so good point. So yeah, so lost sale in the first 2 days. I got 5 messages from potential buyers in the first 2 days, where they said, "Hey, I'm trying to check out, but it says you don't accept PayPal. What's the deal?" And so 3 of those I managed to convert. 2 of them I lost, and the 2 that I kind of explained that I was part of the eBay managed payment team, and this is the way they're going. It's no different than checking out at Target or Walmart.com, and that it was a secured site, blah blah blah. And so then those 2 people said, "I'm only comfortable using PayPal," and I'm like, "Okay, I can't. I'm not going to force you. My feelings weren't hurt." The other 3 were $50. One of them was a $50 sale, and the other 2 were over $100 sales. So I have no way of knowing if those sales got 15% coupon, because at $50 and $100, that's a significant savings to go, okay, I'll give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
At $12, it's not. And so on my call with the managed payment team, I mentioned that, and he's like, yeah, the data that they saw that the whatever conversion were not, I don't know how they look at this stuff. And I don't know how much I can share with you, frankly, but they saw that, and they would then started offering $5 off coupons. So a $5 off coupon on a $12 item, absolutely, you're going to see those conversions. From day 3 forward, I've gotten 0 messages. I've gotten 0 questions about it, and it's just absolutely flowed seamlessly. And the people that are in the group have all kind of said the same thing. So I understand that people were very iffy, concerned, whatever, about joining in because of the glitches. I was not that. I kind of knew that eBay was throwing a lot of resources at this, and I understand that pictures missing off of a platform is a completely different team and issue than managed payments. And so I had 0 concern about site glitches, but I completely understood why everybody was so afraid of it. And that is a valid reason for not opting in at that time. And so I'm here to tell you that most of those things didn't, I mean, the first 2 days were wobbly, but after that, I mean, the increase in sales more than paid for those 2 days. So,
well, and I wasn't so worried about like the glitches, but for me, it's more about I do a really high volume with international. And while I know that with the managed payments, you can still do direct shipping international, it did have some effect over your listings being put on other sites and stuff like that. So for me, it's more, I want to wait till kind of the next phase. But were you going to say something?
That was the same thing. What I was going to say is we have a couple people in the chat that are in the managed payment program and have had a couple of issues here and there. And somebody had asked for your group about the managed. If you could, do you want to message those people directly or have them message you to join that group?
Or how can they find it?
You can message me, and I'll give Katie the link to the group. It's just, I think if you just search for eBay, hang on, let me see. eBay Payments 2.0 beta team. There's a questionnaire that I asked you, and basically it's for people that are already in the beta program, not for people that are thinking about it or wanting to do it. It's if you're in the program. So keep that in mind. But we're happy to have everybody in there that's in the group, and then it's a place to go to ask questions. How do you handle this? Like there was an issue about partial payments. Now, partial refunds. Partial refunds, I mean, you just tell your buyer to open a case, and people are freaking out about that. I'm like, I don't get it. If you open a case, it's not a ding against you if you resolve the problem. So, but that was one of the things because of the group that I brought up to the team, and they sent me more information, detailed information about how that whole process works. And I posted it in the group. And so I like having that, I like being that voice, and the eBay team likes having that voice of these sellers. So if you're in the beta plan and want to join the group, by all means, join.
Yeah. So I have a question. Have they talked about at what phase they will be bringing back PayPal, or they'll be working in like the international shipping part of it?
We haven't talked anything. I haven't heard anything about the international shipping part. I need to go see my international. I haven't noticed my international shipping. I have noticed that I've sent several things to Canada, which is definitely up for me. So I wonder if the payment beta team plan is allowing for Canada, but I'm not shipping other places. I have to look at that closer.
Well, I mean, Canada, as long as they order it on the .com site, it's fine.
Right. So maybe that's the issue.
I'm sure people in Canada probably shop on the .com site all the time.
Yeah. So as far as, but before this, my Canada sales were pretty awful, and I contributed that to I didn't have a different international shipping for Canada and the rest of the world. So where was I? Oh, as far as PayPal, in a brief conversation once in a meeting, they talked about that they would be bringing it into the beta program at a later time. So I don't think you have to wait till the beta program's completely done before PayPal is an option.
Yeah, I remember them saying back in open.
Denise's picks just said that the eBay said next summer.
The second phase is next summer or next fall. And I remember them saying at open that phase 2 would have PayPal as an option.
Okay, yeah. So
I'm sure that's not cut in stone, but yeah,
it's a goal. It's
pretty far out. Yeah.
Part of the plan. So people are freaking out about PayPal not being an option. And I know that there are several reasons for eBay, but the one I asked about and they said, yeah, that was one of it, was if you're going to try to implement a new payment plan, you want to sort of force buyers to use that and get them moved over to that plan. So why would you if you just keep offering PayPal, people are just going to do that same thing. So
no, I totally get it. That's just I'm just curious when that's going to be brought.
The reality is that it has to do with the separation agreement that eBay has with PayPal, and that's something that they've been open about. It, right. 5% beta test group for the first year. Year 2 is going to be another additional 10%, and at the end of the program, they can do the remainder of the site. That's part of their contract separation agreement.
But they're also bringing back PayPal, so those people, even those people at 5% at the beginning, like Theresa, will have the option brought back for people to pay with PayPal.
Right.
So it's not going away forever, but
some of the other things that people were like complained about, or in the sky is falling type issues, were that they didn't have immediate access to their money because someone pays, it's in your PayPal account. eBay has automatically been sending payouts every day. So if you sell on other platforms, I think Mercari makes you wait a complete 4 weeks before you get paid out. Posh makes you wait 3 days till after the buyer gets the item or something like that. So
Etsy
I don't know.
Takes a few days as well.
So
yeah, Etsy's pretty quick though.
You can schedule earlier deposits, but yeah, Etsy is at least like three business days or so.
If you sell on Amazon, you get a payout every 2 weeks unless you're grandfathered in, and you can get one every 24 hours. But so this is eBay's just in the payment in the beta plan. They've defaulted everybody to once a day. And so whatever funds are in my little group that are ready to be paid out gets dispersed every day. Now, banks and credit cards and all this kind of stuff is a highly regulated industry where PayPal is not. PayPal's not a bank. PayPal is a completely different type of payment system that, frankly, I don't understand. But so all these kind of bank and credit card transactions are highly regulated. So they get paid out, and then they go through the banking process. And sometimes my payment gets done, it gets deposited in 24 hours. Sometimes it's 2 days. It's never been longer than 3 days. In the initial, it was like 3 days. So from the time that eBay releases the funds to get to my bank account, it can be 24 hours. It can be 2 days or 3 days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I know that people talk about that. To me, I'm like, I get it if you're a hobby seller, sort of, but a lot of us, if you're trying to like build a business, I mean, if it's like a deal breaker that you don't get paid immediately, I mean, you shouldn't be like living and breathing for the immediate payment, or like your business collapses. Like that's not a very healthy business if that's the case. So the whole idea of it taking a day or two and not getting it immediately, I don't really see what the problem there is. And another thing is, people have been talking forever about like, why can't we have immediate pay required when you accept a best offer? Because, as you know, on eBay, it's if somebody makes an offer, let's say I have something listed for $60, somebody says, I'm going to offer you 55. And I'm like, sweet, it's only $5 off. So I accept it. Well, then they can just not pay for the next week. And then I got to deal with that whole thing where I got to open an unpaid case and I got to wait another 4 days and blah, blah. And one of the things that I've been hearing rumblings about and some little teases directly from eBay is that with the managed payments at some point in the future, there is a possibility that that will be something they will be able to implement. But because of how they work through PayPal, they're not able to do that because it has to do with like having the person actually there to make the purchase. So like there are some other platforms where they make offers, and when you accept it, automatically you get paid out. That is coming in the future, hopefully, from eBay with these managed payments. I'm sure you've probably heard the same thing, Theresa.
Yeah, and what people don't understand is that a lot of these limitations are just based on the platform, the operation systems that make the platform run. And so PayPal being that operation system, for whatever reason, it wasn't set up to be able to accept automatic payments. I don't understand the nuts and bolts of how that stuff works, but there's other things that a lot of shipping things. Well, once we have a lot of sellers talking about shipping, well, once we get moved over to the new shipping label platform, a lot of the things that are very common on other sites will be able to happen on eBay. And so I'm going to go back to the daily payout or the payment thing that people were complaining about. Sometimes I really think that people that start blowing their horn and the sky is falling on all this kind of stuff just want to find something to bitch and whine about, because there really isn't any substance to it. I mean, like you said, if you can't afford to pay for $20 worth of shipping today and get your money tomorrow because you have to pay for it out of your PayPal account and your money's in your B of A account, like, figure this out, people. It's not rocket science. It's the way every business does business. And put $100 in your PayPal account to pay for your postage and then transfer it over when it's spent. I mean, it's what you do with stamps. It's what you do with pirate ship. It's like, it's not any different.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that's going to, I mean, it's going to change how I do my accounting for sure. I mean, I tend to keep my money in PayPal and ship for that money and deposit it, once or twice a week. Or usually just once a week, and transfer money into my checking or savings account. So, and I usually purchase my inventory using my PayPal debit card. So here's what's going to be different now is that I'm going to probably have to set up a different bank account. Not a big deal. I'll just set up a second bank account through my bank so that I can keep my funds separate so I can keep track better. So it won't be commingled immediately with my everyday funds.
Commingled.
I just find that that'll be easier for me for accounting. And then, I'll probably have a credit card attached for my shipping, or however we do shipping. I may not use PayPal shipping at all going forward. When we get there, who knows? Maybe I'll use a third party all the time instead of just part of the time. So and
a lot of sellers do that. A lot of sellers do use a third party shipping platform. So, here's what I always say to people. Isn't it great that eBay gives us choices and options? Because nobody at Amazon is asking me if I want to have automatic free returns, which I do, and it's about 34%, and it costs me $10 to $16 every time somebody returns an item at Amazon. Nobody cares whether I want that or not. So I love that eBay says, okay, here, you can ship on our platform, or we'll partner with Stamps, or we'll partner with Pirate Ship, or we'll partner with ShipStation, or the other 10 shipping options that are out there. And so, and they don't make you, I mean, nobody forced me to opt into this managed payment plan, and nobody's going to force. So in some board I was reading, somebody said, oh, it's just another way eBay's going to force this change down our throat. It's not being forced down your throat.
You can choose to sell elsewhere or not sell on eBay at all.
Yeah. Sorry. Allison, Big Drift Thrift, just put 99 cents in the T-Money virtual swear jar.
You said bitching.
Okay, so this is my mom thinks my mom doesn't like it when I say pissed off. I don't think pissed off is a swear word. I don't think bitching is a swear word either. So,
by the way, money does not cuss very often.
Susie Beach just said whining. It's what separates us from the animals. Tell that to my dog Grizz, okay? Because she is
the biggest whiner ever.
Which, by the way, we took Grizz and Luna to the groomers today. They're there right now, so I feel like an empty nester. I feel really sad that they're not in the house. But she was a big crybaby, pee-pee pants the whole way over. But anyway, good segue, Theresa. Let's get into shipping. So there's been a lot of, we talk about it. I swear we talk about it like every show we do.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think that, there's other platforms like Mercari and Poshmark that make shipping super easy, and I think that to a degree they make it sound like it's more affordable. But I do think that with eBay, while shipping can be super complicated because you have so many options and you have to go to so many different third-party sites that we're going to get into here in a second, I know that it's really, really complicated. However, and I said this before, once you get to the point where you kind of master all the different methods that you could be using for shipping, I actually think it ends up saving you a bunch of money, and it actually makes it more affordable. So like Poshmark, for instance, they charge everybody, what is it, $6.50?
Something.
It's something like $6.50 for to ship anything. And I think it's the buyer that pays the $6.50, right?
They do. Yeah.
But then you can send shoes that way. I think it's up to like 5 pounds or whatever it is. But it's like they have to pay $6.50 if they're buying a t-shirt too. So for somebody like me, where I'm selling lots of t-shirts, it's just kind of, I don't know about that.
The trade-off for buyers there, because I've talked to, it's a very millennial site, is they like easy. And so the term that I keep hearing from these millennials is it takes up too much mental real estate. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But I get it. They don't want to think about, all these different options. A lot of the kids that I talk to, they don't know what an invoice is. That blows my mind more than they don't know what a dial phone is. Like an invoice, because they're so used to fee netting on everything. They don't understand if eBay has $100, why do they give me $100? If I sell something for $100, why do they give me the 100 and I have to give them 20 back? So anyway, it's so people are willing to pay $3 extra for a t-shirt because it's just easy.
So Christy Ann just did a $5 super chat. And she wants to know if she can hear her song. This is a first. This is so basically, I guess Christy Ann's starting a new thing where she actually wrote her super chat song that she would like to hear.
I love it.
And let's see. I'm trying to think if I can know the way the song goes well enough to make this work. I never meant to cause any disruption.
I'm reading this over your shoulder.
I never meant to make you stop the show. I'm sure I'm singing this wrong. I only wanted one time to hear you singing. I only wanted to thank you so much for the super chat. Super chat. Super chat.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I only wanted to thank you so much for the super chat.
Well done.
I feel like the beginning part was a little bit. I haven't heard the song in a while, so I don't remember exactly.
That was good. That was really good, Christiane. That was.
But man, you got your $5 worth there. The rest of the people are like, "Dear Lord, what just happened?"
Oh my gosh, I love that she wrote the lyrics and made you sing it.
She's done a few of them, and I think that's the first one that you actually did. That was good.
Yeah. So anyway. So I do think, like, I understand, like, the whole, like, making it super easy so people don't have to think about it, but guess what? You're getting charged more money. It's costing, you know how much Poshmark makes off of all the excess shipping that people are paying every time they buy a blouse or a t-shirt or whatever. And I actually saw somebody say recently, I don't remember where, it was some thread I saw where somebody was saying that they like to shop on eBay because there's free shipping and they don't pay for Prime. So, everyone's like, oh, we're trying to compete with Amazon all the time. Well, guess what? Not everybody wants to pay $11.99 a month or $110 a year or whatever the cost is.
It's $129 a year for Prime because I just repaid.
Yeah, so $130 a year to get Prime, or you can pay monthly, like $12, $13 a month. And some people do that, but there's people who don't. And guess what? They want to go to eBay where they don't have to pay for shipping.
Yeah.
So with all the increases that are coming up, we don't know exactly what they're all going to be. Like, they've released a lot of that. We don't know exactly how it's going to affect all of our shipping, but there's going to be some cost increases with the USPS. So we need to be really super dialed in wherever we can to save money. And that's where Theresa comes in. Theresa, tell us, what is this?
Look at you in your Segway championship here.
I know, right?
Look at I have
Shalene just asked, Vicki, do you have your contacts in today? No, I don't. Can you tell? Because I'm squinting. I'm doing this.
She likes to wait a couple weeks.
No, I wait a couple of days. I just give my eyes a break a little bit. But the problem is that we're doing this. I'm like,
yeah.
Trying to read. Sorry.
All right, Theresa, size me up.
Okay, so size me up, people. And creds to Christina. Bonanno. I can't. Christine Bonanno. I had this for the name. She's the one that we were at dinner a year ago in New York, and she's the one that came up with the size me up name. But so this is the tool. So I sell it on eBay. If you just search on eBay, don't Google size me up because you won't like what you get. But search Google size me up. I'm sorry, search eBay size me up. So this is a shipping tool. Let me go back and explain a little bit about shipping. eBay default for international shipping. This is used for international packages. The eBay default is for packages only. There is another choice called international letters. And that definition is on here, that it must be rectangular, flexible, and uniformly thick to qualify for flat pricing.
And they call it flats, which is different. Just to avoid any confusion, it's called flats, but that's not the same thing as flat rate shipping.
Right. And so, I'm sorry, I put ice in my mouth. That was dumb. I'm trying to keep my throat lubricated so I don't end up coughing. So and then on here, it gives you the information about 12 inches high, length 15 inches. But here's the key. It cannot be more than 3/4 of an inch thick. That's the distance in here. So, and it says it has to be flexible. So the first example that I'm going to show you doesn't fit that, but okay, let me back up. When we created this, it was last November, October, November. And in January, the post office changed their international shipping rules. So I was all ready to do rest in peace, size me up, because the post office does not allow international letters any longer.
Unless it's documents, right?
Right, unless it's for merchandise.
For merchandise. So you can only send letters in that now, documents.
Right, so letters defined by the U.S. Post Office is papers and documents. So what we have here is this tool, and I'll explain more about how to go about using it. But because that definition was from the U.S. Postal site, I've gotten clarification from stamps.com that the program they're using to ship these items does allow rigid items. So this says flexible. So let me just say that flexible, this is how I make it so that if you want to ship a t-shirt, I have a bunch of these old my brain freezes. Manila folder type things. And so I'll just cut them up and put these in a package, and to give the package a little bit of stability so that they're not flimsy, because flexible is not flimsy.
You get padded envelopes work really well.
Yeah, padded envelopes are this is my example here. This is my favorite one. It's the eBay 11 by 15, I think it is, label or poly padded mailer. So the idea is here's a DVD. And so what you can do is if you put this in here, so this is how easy the tool is. Fold it over. I wouldn't fold it over because it won't fit. But the idea is you take this tool, can you see it, Katie? And you slide this. If it slides all the way over and around, it is 3/4 of an inch thick or less. And so it can go as a flat rate letter. That's how you determine a letter from a package. If it's more than 3/4 of an inch thick, it definitely has to be a package.
Okay, so for clarification, now stamps is the only place you can do that now, right?
Yeah, so in order to ship something, so let me talk about price difference. I was going to look this up.
Okay.
So I do standardized pricing on all my international packages. So typically anything that's up to 8 ounces, I will, as a package, is $14.99. That's just my flat rate that I do. What I've done is anything that would fit into a letter package, I've just made it a flat $8. So I used to have some that were $6, some that were $9. I just decided that, simplicity, so they're all $8. So that's the difference between a a buyer paying $8 versus a buyer paying $15 for shipping. And so for the buyer, they're going to buy my item more than they'll buy somebody else's because of just the savings on the shipping.
Or just the seller, you can keep the savings for yourself. So it's however you want to do it. It's cheaper when you ship.
Yeah. So if I want to be more competitive, then I will reduce my prices and let them take the savings on the shipping. So how does this work? You have to have a stamps.com account to print. And Stamps, I didn't have any international sales, but Stamps has partnered with a third-party carrier so that what they do is when you print out your label through stamps.com to somebody in Great Britain, it goes through a processing center in California or New York or wherever. I think it depends on the coast. Mine go to Los Angeles. And they hold them there and they package them up, and this third-party packing service then ships them to Europe in a big bundle. Instead of what was happening is the post office was sending them one at a time. So when you print out your thing from Stamps, don't get alarmed that it says Los Angeles Processing Center. There's a note on there, the items, rest assured the items do get to the buyer. But there's a couple of things you have to do ahead of time. Get a stamps.com account. If you have an eBay store, there is a link to get that for free. They don't advertise it, but they do allow for bloggers and stuff. So reach out to me, and I'll give you that link. Sorry. And then once you have your stamps.com account, you have to call and request access to this program.
What's
so
the call?
Just ask them for the International Letter Program.
Do you have headphones there that you could put on? Because my voice is echoing for some reason right now.
I don't, because I took my headphones home.
Yeah, I don't know why. For some reason, it's like picking up my voice. So let me know if you guys are still hearing that echo.
I can hear it.
I don't hear it. Hey, you guys in the chat, oh, Katie's echoing.
Well, but it's a little bit delayed, so we'll see. What's the name of the Stamps program that you have to ask to be added to?
I don't know the name of it, but it is ask for the International Letter Program.
Okay. So again, I just want to clarify because I think this is one of the real. This is a very confusing kind of next level shipping hack. But if you are somebody who does a lot of international stuff and especially stuff that could qualify, like T-shirts, like I'm not even doing it, and I need to be doing it for when I send T-shirts because I can do it with T-shirts. But okay, so basically, we're going to reiterate this. There is a thing called first class international letters as opposed to packages. And letters, they also refer to them as flats. It used to be that you could pretty much send anything that way as long as it fit within the criteria of the size and the flatness, those kind of rules. And then last year they changed it to where it's only documents. So literally letters, documents, papers. So you can't do it anymore through eBay, through USPS website, through Pirate Ship, through PayPal shipping. All of those, they won't allow you to send like a CD or a DVD or a T-shirt using the first class international letters or flats rates. You can't do it anymore. So now the only solution is that you need to have a stamps.com account, like what Theresa said. Contact Theresa if you don't have one already, because you can get one for free if you're an eBay seller. And you have to contact them. You have to actually call Stamps and say you want to be in their program for first class international letters or flats, and they'll put you in that program. And then what happens is when you buy your label, you actually get a label that goes to California, and then it'll have the domestic tracking number on it, but it'll also have the international tracking number on it that you'll be able to give to your buyer.
And Susie, you don't take your package anywhere different. You put it out or ship it the way you would anything else that goes USPS. It's a regular USPS package. They handle it differently internally as far as the routing. Yeah. So it's not even something you need to even be concerned with.
You don't, but you have to do it only through Stamps. And so especially if you are somebody who sells a lot of T-shirts, a lot of DVDs, CDs, things that can fit into that kind of packaging, this is something that you're going to want to look into. And I get it's super confusing, and I hope I kind of put it into a concise little package right there.
Even if it's something that you sell like postcards or very small items that you still want tracking on and you need tracking on because you sell on eBay, this is definitely the type of thing that you'd want to use.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't. Do you think that explains it, kind of, Theresa?
I think that explains it. Awesome. Thank you for not making me talk.
No, it's okay. I'm just trying to get it because, like I said, I do think this is one of the most complicated. It's more complicated than cubic, and so that confuses a lot of people. So
have difficulty with that, yeah.
Right, and so basically, like what we're talking about now is it's like, especially with prices going up at the post office. Unfortunately, you do need to be clued into all these different third-party shippers. It's like, so now it's like I'm doing my first class and my padded flat rate domestic on eBay, and then I go over to Pirate Ship and Fit Shipper to get my cubic rates, and then I'm going to Pirate Ship to get my.
It is a little bit more complicated, and if you're shipping a lot of items, even though it's more complicated, you're going to save enough money that it's going to make jumping through the hoops worth it. At least it does for me. That's part of the problem, is that unfortunately, postage prices keep increasing year after year, and next year they're going to be even higher. Come January, we're looking at a 9 to 12% increase across the board. Who knows what type of discounts are going to be negotiated by companies like eBay and Pirate Ship and things like that. You can either increase your prices across the board and pass that on to your customer, which a lot of people will do. I know that I'm going to have to increase my prices a little bit, but we need to try and save money wherever we can. So if you're willing to jump through these hoops, and if you're not, that's okay too. But if you're willing to learn how to do these things and jump through these hoops, then you're going to save money, and you can either pass that savings along to your customer, or you can end up with more money in your pocket. Either way, we're in this business to make money. Clearly, this is a business, and sometimes you've got to jump through hoops to get more money in your pocket.
Like, I totally get that the learning curve can be pretty steep when it comes to shipping, especially now that there's all these different things you have to know. But once you get over that part of it, and once you really have like a firm grasp and understanding of how everything works, like it's really easy for me to just go and I do the shipping I'm going to do on eBay. I pop over to Pirate Ship. I do my international shipping. And
sometimes I have to compare the two. Sometimes I'll have two windows open and I've got to compare and see which one I'm going to.
But it's like super fast and super easy, because now I have an understanding of like what I'm doing. It just takes a while. It's like, I don't know if any of you have ever like learned or tried to learn how to play the guitar. When you very first pick it up and you're trying to like get your fingers to move to the different chords, it feels like it is absolutely impossible. You're like, my finger doesn't bend that way. My fingers won't do that. And then when you're trying to like go from one chord to another, it's like even more impossible. But then like the more you practice and the more you do it, you get to a point where it almost feels like you're playing in slow motion, because it's so easy to kind of go back and forth between the different chords. That's I don't know if that's comparison. I don't know if that's a good analogy or not. But it's just, at first it's going to seem really overwhelming, but once you get to where you kind of mastered it, it's going to save you. I mean, I'm sure some of you in the boss group have been seeing people say stuff. Emily just said, I saved $8 on one international package from watching this and using Pirate Ship. I'm telling you guys, like,
I'm saving $30 or $40 a week by using.
I'm saving more than that.
You're saving more than that because you do a lot of shoes. So you're cubic, you're saving a lot more in cubic. So my stuff doesn't quite fit cubic.
Yeah, Theresa?
I can't tell if my mic is muted or not because I keep muting.
We can hear
you. So Susie Beach says, and I think it's a great explanation. Oh, kind of like global shipping. Yeah, kind of like global shipping, but for international letters. Meaning where the global shipping, it goes to that place in Kentucky. And so this is going to a place in LA or New York. So,
but except you actually get the second tracking number, which is nice.
Right.
Yeah. Shalene Brinston says very clear, and then Rag says, I'm totally confused.
I get it. I get it.
Sometimes you have to watch these things more than once to learn the explanation. And, it is not the easiest thing. Shipping is probably the most complicated thing of this business, is getting your mind around mastering shipping, the different processes, the different pricing, the different ways you can ship. Right. It is like somebody that comes here from another country and has to learn the English language. The English language is the most difficult language in the world. And anybody that is English as a second language, which I'm not, will tell you that. If you've ever tried to learn a second language, whether it's been in high school or college or what have you, and as an American or someone that speaks English as a first language, other languages are much easier for us to understand and learn than it is for people that come from other countries to learn English. English is the most difficult language because there are so many different nuances, and yet people do it all the time. So just like shipping has lots of different nuances and different ways to do things. Lots of things mean the same thing, but they're different, just like the English language. So I think that that's a different analogy too, but once you learn it and once you master it, it becomes easier and easier.
Well, and so for me, it's like, okay, so let's say I only sold shoes. And I sell a lot of shoes, but it's like, because I have cubic priority shipping, like in my little tool belt, in my toolbox, I know I can pretty much send most pairs of shoes for like, you know, that aren't in a box for like around $8, $8.50. The same shoes that another seller might think that they have to pay $16 to ship. And so that's their shipping cost because they haven't figured out that cubic priority is a thing because they think they got to send everything through eBay. So I have like an $8 jump on them as far as my costs go. Like that's huge. They're paying 100% more than I am on shipping. Mm-hmm. And so that is, you know, you hear like, oh, there's a 6%, 9% increase coming at USPS, and people are freaking out about it. And I'm like, why aren't you freaking out that you're already paying 100% more than you need to be because you're not taking advantage of all these different shipping options?
Yeah, I think that, oh, I just lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I'm talking too much.
Just like that, my train of thought went out the window.
Sia Teska says it's pirate ship cheaper for domestic shipping too. For cubic priority, so cubic priority is priority by volume, and so for up to a certain size, it can be much cheaper for anything that's over a pound, but within a certain size limit, it can be a lot cheaper than regular, priority. So for me, I send anything that's under a pound, I send first class. That's just the cheapest way to do it right now. Anything that's over a pound that can fit in a padded flat rate mailer, I send in a padded flat rate mailer because again, that's the cheapest way to do it. But once it exceeds the pound and also cannot fit in a padded flat rate mailer, for me, because I sell all clothing and shoes, cubic is like the next best option as far as being the cheapest way to go. But again, it doesn't work for really big things.
And Lorna, you really need to learn how to do this, girlfriend.
Yeah, for sure.
You are smart enough, gosh darn it.
If you tackle the inventory in the summer, you need to tackle shipping in the fall.
Yeah, for sure. Just to give you guys a really quick visual.
Wait, I remembered my thought. Okay, what? I forget it. So when I did my business plans for business policies last week, a third over 1,000 of my listings now are shipping international first class letter. That gives me about a 50% shipping savings over other competitors. That's huge.
That's really big.
Yeah.
So
really quick for cubic, just for a visual, this shoebox, the priority shoebox you can get for free from the USPS. This is a 0.4 tier cubic size.
As it is.
Cubic actually goes up to 0.5, but it's, you know, you're less savings once you kind of get up to the top level of cubic, but you can still save a little bit of money. But just visually having the shoebox, knowing like if it can fit into this, then it's going to be cubic, or you can cut this box down, or you can be using poly mailers.
Wait, on that box, what is it if you take an inch off of it? Is that cubic 3?
Probably. I know that if you go down to, if you cut it down, no.
8 inches.
No. If you cut it down to where it's 8 3/4 in length, that brings it down to a 0.2. So 0.3 is going to be somewhere in between that.
Okay,
I don't have the numbers in front of me.
I thought that. So an example somebody gave me was that box, if you cut it down by an inch, it saves you like $10.
Yeah, probably. So what I'm saying is that as is, it's 0.4.
Got it.
If it's 8 3/4 inches in length, if you cut it down to, I don't know exactly where it's at, maybe around here, it ends up being 0.2. So 0.3 might very well be at the inch mark, what you're saying. I'm not sure exactly. I'm just saying visually, because some people are like, oh, this will be a great thing for me. And I ship these things that are 18 inches by 12. And I'm like, no. That's going to be too big. But
18 inches is the max for cubic shipping. I learned that.
On one side.
On one side, yes.
So we're going to need to do another video probably sometime soon to go back over cubic, because we've learned some things since I did my first one. We've changed how we did things. We have more shortcuts. I know Theresa, you and I are working on coming up with a nice handy dandy little table to kind of give, because it does seem really confusing, but it's not, especially once you kind of master the, I know Alexis mentioned yesterday in a thread that we were talking where she was like, the 15 by 12 inch poly mailer is magic. And it really is, because a 15 by 12 poly mailer is automatically a 0.2, and almost any pair of shoes that I don't send in a box, I take them. I wrap them up with my shrink wrap roll right here, and they fit almost any pair of shoes, just about any size fits into one of those. And I know right away that's a cubic 2, and it's probably going to be around, depending on where it goes in the country, but probably no more than like $8.50. So bam.
Awesome. Emily just signed up for a free account with stamps while she was watching. Now there's some of this multitasking.
Indeed. All right. So I don't know. I think we pretty much like run out of time here. We don't want to be, we have a bunch of stuff that we have to do. Theresa, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I'll just give a quick plug to the the Phoenix area East Valley Innovative eBay Sellers Group, meetup group, because we're meeting tonight. We go by EVs because I like an acronym. And so we meet in a seller's home, in Jane Parker's home. A lot of you may know her, in Tempe. So we do that the third Wednesday of every month. And so if you are looking for that, look for us on Facebook. I did remove the meetup.com account just because it was way too much work and unnecessary in my opinion. So yeah, so if you're in the Phoenix area or you vacation to the Phoenix area, join the group, and then you'll know of our meetings that are coming up. But the third Wednesday of every month.
Awesome, awesome.
And as a tease, a lot of the stuff that I can't write publicly on Facebook or I can't talk about publicly on a YouTube channel, I may or may not talk to my meetup people about.
What?
Because and yeah, we could do a little teaser about what the three of us are kind of doing. I don't know that it's not out there yet, but eBay's working on a big project, and I've been working on it for, I don't know, about a month now. And Monday we had our first call meeting, and Vicky and Katie were on that. And so
it was awesome.
It is going to be awesome. I can't wait till we can talk about it. But I'll be talking about it in my meetup tonight.
Yeah, I will say, I think I can say this, that I want you guys to know that eBay has been doing a lot of work over the past several months to really do more, to be working with sellers, to be listening to sellers, to be giving sellers a voice, because they realize that, you know, you look at any of these other platforms. I mean, I'm not super familiar with most of them, but like Amazon, for instance, Amazon does not give access to sellers, to people who work at Amazon like eBay does. It really does set eBay apart. And I think a lot of that has been overshadowed by the fact that there were a lot of problems over the summer, like the glitches and different things. And it really has kind of, I guess, hurt their reputation a little bit with the sellers. It's made a lot of sellers feel a little, I guess, gun shy. And
a little left out and a little maybe marginalized.
And I think that's, I totally understand why sellers feel that way. But I think the reality is that eBay does really care, and it does really listen to sellers. And I think that's evident in what just happened with the 14-day sale rule. And I think that, and I just want you guys to know that there is a lot of work going into being even better at that. And I think it's really awesome and really exciting.
I'm super. I mean, I do a lot of stuff for eBay. I work with them. I know a lot of, you know, different people that work at eBay, and they're all amazing. They all want to make the platform better. And I am the most pumped up about this whole thing that they're working on. And it's, you know, it's from the top down. So
yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of it too. So I think that everybody else is going to be really excited, because I think that I think that you're going to have more of a voice. Really, I think that's what bottom line. What it means is that you've always had a voice with eBay, but I think that this is going to be an even better way for you to feel like it is a partnership.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not some very small group of 10 or 15 people. It's going to be a bigger. It's about 300 people now, and it's going to grow to more and more people. So I like that. It's not some kind of inclusive little group. So
or exclusive little group.
I'm sorry, yeah,
more inclusive. Yeah.
So real quick, somebody was asking, first of all, somebody asked about the cubic video that I did earlier. So if you just go to our channel and click on videos, you'll be able to do a search and just search Cubic, and it'll pop up and you'll be able to watch that. And then someone else, sorry, I didn't see who it was. Oh, Bunny wanted me to repeat the thing about shrink wrapping shoes. So when I send shoes, you know, rather than just throwing them in a bag, because I feel like, you know, it's a little weird to get your shoes in a bag. And so I like them to, I want my buyers to feel like they're getting it and it's secure and it wasn't just haphazardly thrown together. And so what I do, I just happen to have these boots right here, is I will, like for instance, with these boots, I'll position them like this and I'll actually shrink wrap this so that they are in a really solid, so rather than just being thrown in a bag where they're moving around and then other stuff gets stacked on them and you know, while it's being shipped and everything, and they could get all smashed, I basically will shrink wrap them like a ton so that they're a super solid mass, and then I put this into a poly bag and send it cubic priority. So that's, but you'll see in the video, if you look up cubic, you'll see in the video I kind of cover that a little bit more. And like I said, we'll be doing another video sometime in the near future, to hopefully, because I really kind of like with the whole size me up, I want it to be as concise as possible so you guys can understand it, because I know it is kind of hard to kind of get a hold on it. But anyway, it's almost 12:30.
We gotta go pick up the puppies.
Hopefully our puppies are ready to be picked up.
They are. They've been ready for half an hour.
Yay!
45 minutes they've been ready.
Grizz got shaved, so she's gonna look so cute, and they smell better now. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming and watching. Get back to listing. Theresa, what are you doing with the rest of your day?
So wait, but one more thing to plug is the eBay for Business weekly broadcast. They are going to be talking about a new feature in the marketing tab on the Seller Hub called Volume Price Discounts.
Oh,
they
yeah.
just launched it, so an expert will be there to discuss it. So if you want to know about volume price discount, then you should definitely, you know, have your Facebook on and join the eBay for Business.
And that's like anybody who has multi-quantity listings, right?
Yeah. So it's Bob's talked about it a couple of times, and it's, you know, it makes more sense that it's for the buyer and the seller. If I have 22 of an item and you buy one, it's going to be $15.99. You buy two, it might be $13 each. You buy five, and I'll sell them to you for $9 each.
Nice.
So, you know, it's whatever it might be. So I love that eBay is rolling this out. It's going to be huge for a lot of the stuff that I have multi-quantities of.
Very, very cool. All right, guys, I see we still have like 130 of you guys here. If you could go ahead and hit the like button if you enjoyed the show, we would greatly appreciate that. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And join the Boss Facebook group if you are not in the group, because that's where we do the Boss Up and List virtual listing party every Wednesday. And we do all kinds of cool stuff in the group, so you should be there. And I guess you'll see us next on Friday for No Pants Friday, guys. What do you think about that?
No Pants Friday.
Yay. No Pants Friday. Yay! Theresa, awesome. Team Money, thanks for coming.
Thanks, everybody. Peace out.
And seriously, Frenchie says, boss up. She says,
that's awesome.
Boss up, and she says, come see me on Instagram and on my YouTube so I can give you chicken nuggets of knowledge. Chicken nuggets.